Okay, I was just looking at our little classroom here and it struck me that look at this. We have right now 357 posts in our discussion boards. And that's pretty impressive. It's you have been participating in this consistently and constantly, and a lot of writing research shows that consistency and constancy in practice makes better writers, and that's part of the reason we have discussion board. The other part of it is to inspire us for better writing, higher quality thinking, and to really get beyond the surface meaning of what we're reading and interact with the texts and interact with each other about how we interact and really putting validity into other people's opinions and also pushing back a little and questioning each other. So as we work on future discussion boards, even into this week, I just want to challenge you to make these 357, as this number goes up, a quality experience based on going beyond summary in your reaction to texts, questioning things, setting up your original posts so that other people would be inspired to chime in. And then when you respond to others, don't just do a hey, good job on that. Question their ideas, applaud their ideas, add to their ideas, tell them what their post reminds you of, what you wonder about, and those kinds of comments to just really create rich conversations for these discussions. That's my little pep talk for discussion board this week. Okay, let's look at what we're doing this week in the course. We have now shifted out of writing these shorter papers, which is fun because we're done with the shorter papers, but we are moving on into the big kahuna, the final paper, which is also our final exam. Excuse me. Fighting the cold that the kids brought home from school. Maybe it's a computer virus. All right. Here we go. Waiting, loading. It wasn't supposed to take this long to load. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and scroll down and see where we're at. We're coming into April now, which is just crazy, right? And last week was a big writing week, so you know that this week will not be. In fact, this week, the reason I brought up the discussion board is that we are going to be focusing on discussion board. Let me, excuse me, kind of paint out a big picture perspective of the last couple weeks of this class, the last month of this class, and let you know how this week fits in. Your paper that we're going to be working into is actually due May 4th, okay? And I need to actually double check that date. You can check in your assignments to make sure that that date is accurate. Sometimes we do make this due midweek because I have to the grading turnaround for it in order to be done in time for grades to be due. Sometimes I need you to get it done a little earlier. So do double check, but tentatively May 4th. So what are we going to do between now and May 4th? Let's work from backwards so you can kind of see how this all is going to fall together. That last week of writing the paper is going to be your revision week. The week before that, April 21st through the 27th, is going to be a peer review in the discussion board, okay? That's where we do our peer edit. So really the paper needs to be mostly written prior to April 21st and or written, I'm sorry, prior to April 27th so that you can post your peer review by April 27th. And that again is so that you can do your revisions the following week and so that they can be graded on time. So backing up then from April 14th to the 20th, we're going to be doing a little bit of review of plagiarism as we also do some research. So mostly the week of April 14th is slated to focus on your research for this paper. The week before that is preliminary research, so April 7th through 13th. And let's also keep in mind that in here we have Easter. So I believe that Easter is right in it comes right in this, in between, no, I'm sorry, at the end of this week. So we are kind of dealing with some shorter time frames here in terms of taking breaks. Okay, backing up then, April 14th, excuse me, April 7th to 13th is going to be the assignment that's going to be due is the research proposal, and that's that preliminary research that's gathering. You haven't really delved into the actual research and really read all of your articles, but you'll have a collection of all of your work by that point. So that brings us up to this week, and this is the week before the madness hits. Do you see how that all came together? So what I want you to do this week is two things. One is it's the assignment that's due, and I'm giving you some reading that is just quality arguments. They could spawn your actual topic for your research paper, but they don't have to. So if you choose to use one of the topics that are discussed in these essays, you may use one of the, you can always use classroom texts as supports as long as we're also finding other research. The other reason I've chosen these writings as our discussion board topic for this week is to model out what persuasive and problem solving can look like. Also, in the Plato article especially is an allegory. It could serve as illustrative material for, and all of these are kind of challenging the idea of thinking beyond the normal standard reactions to ideas. Instead of having a canned research paper that's a typical topic and a typical reaction with the predictable arguments, I'm going to challenge you to find a topic that pushes the envelope on something that maybe is unique, that's not over discussed, that is maybe in your area of future study or current study in college, or something that maybe was touched on in one of the essays in our course that you'd love to have more time to research. Maybe it's something personal that you've been kind of curious to gather more information on. Right now, I'm doing a lot of research on online teaching, and so if I was writing this paper, I would definitely use something related to that topic. So your paper has to it has to be clearly persuasive. It could also be a problem solution paper, but that is a persuasive format. Those are regulations by the college, and this is a paper that's going to go into a portfolio, an electronic portfolio that the college keeps. Especially for degree seeking students, but some of you don't really know where you're going to find your degree. So I'm going to encourage everybody to participate in the e-portfolio. And that's where this paper is going. So for this week, you have the obvious assignment of participating in our usual discussion board after doing some reading, but your secondary project is to start finding that topic that excites you to write about. Don't shy away from topics because you think they may not be academic enough. I can help you to create an academic argument out of just about anything. One of my favorite research paper projects from a student was just the analysis of how women are objectified in rap music. And the student went through and just found studied rap music and just found, and I'm not dissing on rap music, okay, but I'm saying that her argument, it's an argument, right? So even the fact that I'm like, well, I'm not trying to be offensive, it's okay to be, to very academically push something out there that some people might really be offended by or argue with, okay? Anyway, she just went on and really developed a great paper showing consistent treatment of women that she was opposed to. Writing something about what you're interested in will make this a lot less painful and make it practical. If it's something you really just need to know more about, it can be about that. Maybe there is a pretty good argument for going into a hard science undergrad degree, and you want to find the information about it, or maybe as you are choosing college, so many of you are taking your post-secondary option materials here. What about the kind of college you choose? Maybe you need to do some research. There's some great stuff out there right now about which colleges are going to pay you off the best in a degree and a debt recovery through a good job. So these are all just things that I'm thinking of that might be interesting to me, but I want you to find what's interesting to you. How do you find that? Start thinking about the last thing that you read that you kind of got intrigued by. Maybe what kind of shows you're drawn to. You could even do a study of your favorite show as long as it's persuasive. Um, ooh, excuse me. Flip through magazines as you're going through a grocery store or whatever, and you see all of those headlines. Which headlines grab your attention? What makes you want to buy the magazine? What intrigues you? What inspires you? Think about these things. Think about how you spend most of your time doing what you do and what you want to do time, and maybe use some of that material for an inspired, persuasive, or problem solving research paper. Again, the only thing you have to turn in this week is your discussion board, but of course, if you want to throw topic ideas at me, I'm more than happy to field questions about your future research paper topic. Have a great week.